Tina Cooks More Italian. This is made possible through the generous support of KC's Body Connections Massage Center, connecting body, mind, and spirit. G's Hot Dog Cafe, home of the Chicago Dog. Enterprise Bank, we help create opportunities for your business. Papa John's Pizza, Leominster, Fitchburg, Marlborough, and Worcester. These may look like ordinary little steakettes, but today we're going to make Braciole. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome to Tina Cooks More Italian. I'm Tina Piermarini. Today we're going to do Braciole. I'm going to make it in a sauce because I've gotten a lot of requests for sauce. Well, I did sauce and meatballs, 2 in a bowl. I think it was like 3 years ago. So we're just going to update the sauce recipe and we're just going to put the Braciole in it today. Now what I did was this is like an eye of the round and it's sliced thin, but I'm going to pad it out just a little bit to give me a little bit more work surface. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside over here and I'm going to lay these out. Now I'm going to do 2 different bracioles. I'm going to do one with breadcrumbs and oil and cheese, and I'm going to do one with spinach and mozzarella because I like to stuff them with a little different. You can use, I was on the internet, me and Carl were on the internet, we were reading, you can use hard-boiled eggs and make a stuffing with those. You can use prosciutto, salami, just about anything you want to put in them. What I'm going to do is I am going to cut off some of this fat. Braciole, basically, in Italian, is a meat roll stuffed. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be stuffing this meat. And like I said, it's just an eye of the round roast that was sliced. So it's kind of not a real good cut of meat either. That's why I think that they sauteed it. I like to saute it and simmer it in the sauce because then the sauce makes it nice and tender. So it's a much better, it tastes better and it softens up nice and it's nice. Okay, we're going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil on the inside, if I can get this to drizzle. Just like this. There we go. And I'm just going to rub it down a little bit like that. I just like to put olive oil on the meat because it's kind of like a marinade that we're going to do on the inside. Because what we're going to do is we're going to fry this with the onions and the garlic and the pepperoni and stuff for the sauce. So they'll pick up that flavor too. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually sprinkle the meat with a little bit of salt because I'm going to put cheese in the breadcrumbs, which will add salt. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of pepper on them too so that they're seasoned good. I like them seasoned good. Okay, and then we're going to put a little bit of parsley. Just a little bit, because I'm going to season the breadcrumbs too. Okay. But I like the meat to taste like something, because I like to season it a little bit. Okay, so now I've got some granulated garlic that I'm going to sprinkle on the top, like this. Okay. Now, I'm going to take some breadcrumbs. I'm going to take, about maybe half a cup or so, not a lot. Maybe 3/4 of a cup. And I'm going to take a good tablespoon of cheese, like this. And I'm going to mix that up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, my mother remembers either her grandmother or one of her aunts that used to beat eggs and then make the paste with the eggs and the breadcrumbs. I've never done that, so I'm just going to do what I normally do, and I add olive oil into the breadcrumbs and it makes kind of like a little bit of a paste. Just mix it with your fingers so that it becomes a paste like this. Now this is where you can add little pieces of pepperoni, or you could probably add prosciutto, and then you just take it and you spread it inside the meat roll up like this. And what you want to do is you don't want to go all the way to the edges. You want to keep away from the edges a little bit, because we're going to wrap these up and tie them. This is spinach aloe. I'm a spinach nut. I love spinach. And what I like to do is I like to have some on hand. Most of the time I have spinach in my refrigerator because I like to make, you know, have it with my meals. So I always do some up ahead. And I'm going to cut this up. Kind of like, not real fine, but kind of chop it. Okay? And I'm going to put this back, I'm going to put this right in the same bowl that the breadcrumbs were in. All right? And then I'm going to take a few of these little pearl-sized mozzarella. It's fresh mozzarella, and it's pearl-sized. And I'm just going to drop those in there like that. Make sure we get a couple in each braciole. I am going to put just a tiny bit of breadcrumbs in here, not a lot, because I don't want a lot of breadcrumbs. Just to kind of like hold the spinach and the cheese and the mozzarella together. A little bit of that. Now I'm just going to do the same exact thing. Going to mix it around, a little tiny bit of breadcrumbs, not a lot. And then I'm going to just pick this up, and I'm going to put a little bit of spinach in each one, like this. And then I'm going to make sure that I get the mozzarella evenly distributed. So you want, like I said, you don't want to go all the way to the edges because you want to be able to roll these up. Now what you do next is you get your twine and your scissors and your toothpicks. And you take this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to roll these. And I'm going to roll them like this. Okay. And I'm going to tuck them in a little bit like this so that the breadcrumbs don't come out. And we're going to continue to roll. And then I'm going to pinch them shut. Here's my towel. And then we're going to take a toothpick and we're going to put it through just like that. And there's your first little braciole. I'm going to put this over here because I want to season those a little bit more. And I'm going to do this with each and every braciole. Carl, we were researching braciole before we started the show. In Italy, they use eggs in theirs, like hard-boiled eggs and different kinds of meat. So I think you could stuff them with just about anything that you like to eat in your roll-ups or your braciole. Okay. Now we're going to line these up like this, and I'm going to tie them. I'm going to try to put 2 little strings on them each. This way here, I know that they're going to stay together and they're not going to fall apart in my sauce. And you just knot one end, and you knot the other end. And the reason why I'm doing the ends is so that the little things that I folded in the center don't come out. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move over to, I'm going to get this dish, which has my stuff for my sauce in here, my onions and my pepperoni and my garlic, and I'm going to push it all over here. It was all fixed nice, but I'm going to make room for the braciole. I'm going to put the bracioles in here like this. All right, so now that we have all our sauce preparations right here, I'm going to start my stove. Now I'm going to put this on about 4 or 5, which is kind of like a medium high. Get a spoon, get some olive oil. We're going to put olive oil in the bottom of the pan like that. You want to cover the bottom of your pan. Now the thing with a nice sauce is you want to start out with your onions and your garlic, And you want to get them soft, start not caramelizing, but cooking. You want to start getting them a little tender so that they get into the oil and they flavor the oil. Okay, so we're going to give these a few minutes. Okay, now the big secret for me for a sauce is I like to cook each item as I add them. A lot of people just dump everything in. Not me. I like to cook my onions and garlic. I like to get them soft. I like to throw in my meat. I like to add my seasonings, put in my wine, simmer my wine down so the alcohol comes out. Add your tomatoes. You're going to simmer the tomatoes 10-15 minutes so that they get all nice and, you know, flavorful. Then when they're boiling, you add your paste. So it's a process of cooking each thing as you add it. And then you need to cook your sauce about 3 hours. And can you overcook sauce? Most definitely. I've seen people cook sauce so that their sauce isn't red, it's like a brownish color. Well, that is an overcooked sauce to me. So we'll see. Here we go. Our onions are going nice now. They're cooking up. I'm going to throw in my little bit of chopped pepperoni. Now I add chopped pepperoni because I love the flavor of pepperoni, and it's probably like 6 or 7 slices of pepperoni, so it's not a lot, but when you cook it like this, it gives the sauce a nice flavor of pepperoni. So we're going to let that cook in a little bit. So I'm going to give that a few minutes to cook. Now the onions, the garlic, and the pepperoni is also going to give the braciole a nice flavor, because then they'll have the taste of all the vegetables that we're cooking with the sauce. Okay, now I'm going to throw in my braciole, and I'm going to lay it right in there with the onions and the garlic and the pepperoni. Okay, now we're going to let our bracioles cook on all 4 sides. I'm going to let them brown on each side, and I'm going to turn them so that all 4 sides are nice and golden brown. Then we're going to take them out, and we're going to finish up our sauce. This is going to be great. All right, I'm turning these now. Actually, these are pretty flat, so I'll be able to do one side each. All right. I'll let those, oh, I forgot one in the corner. He was hiding on me, that little braciole. Okay. Oh, everything's cooking so nice. I want to move these onions around a little bit, so I'm going to stir the bracioles. I don't want the onions to stick. Okay. I'm going to get a slotted spoon for when I got to take these out. Because the reason why I want to take them out is because when I do my sauce, I'm gonna, as you'll see, we're gonna deglaze, we're gonna add, and we're gonna be stirring a lot, and I don't want to be banging those bracioles around all the time when I'm mixing the sauce. Once the sauce is all mixed and ready, then you just drop them in there and they simmer in that sauce, and oh, are they good. There we go. Let's cook this one just a little bit longer, and then we can take them all out because now they look good. So I'm going to take this one out, and this one out. We're going to fish these out of here now. Actually, I like them tied better than I like the toothpicks, because the toothpicks are all like bent. But the tied ones are all nice and round like they're supposed to be. So that's something you can learn. Oops. We got a problem here. We got one busting out. It's an alien. A little mozzarella ball is coming out. That must have had a hole in that braciole. Okay. So now I'm going to fire this up high. And I'm going to get all this nice bits in here. Like this. Now, when I make a sauce, I like to use red wine. But if I have white wine, I use white. I use red. I use fruit flavored. All right, about a cup, half a cup of wine. simmer that down. I like to simmer it so that the alcohol comes out of it. See, and it loosens up everything on the bottom. Take off all those little cooked particles. Alrighty. Now, I'm going to let that simmer just a tish. Okay, now I'm going to add my tomatoes. I buy just a crushed tomato, okay? I don't use whole tomatoes, I use crushed. I like crushed. I'm going to add 3 cans. These are 28-ounce cans of crushed tomatoes, okay? Now, what I like to do is I like to add a can of water per tomato. All right, so I'm going to fill these 3 cans with water. And I'm going to rinse them out. Okay, see that? Then we're going to dump them in here. Now the reason why I add water to my sauce is because I like it to boil. I like the water to boil out, concentrate the flavors of the sauce, the tomatoes. And there we go. So we have 3 cans. This is a huge batch of sauce, by the way. This will last a while. This is like a freezer order for sauce. All right, so now we're going to stir this around. Now I still have this on high, and what I want to do is I'm going to season up my sauce right now with my seasonings, and I'm going to bring this to a boil, and I'm going to let it boil for a good 10 minutes so that it gets nice and it reduces actually a little bit. So I'm going to put in salt. That's probably 2 or 3 tablespoons of salt. This is a lot of sauce. We're going to throw in some parsley. Couple tablespoons of parsley. Now, even though I used fresh garlic, I still like granulated garlic in my sauce. I like to put different herbs too. I'm going to grab some parsley and some oregano also. Some nice fresh ground pepper. All right, I have some dried basil. I add about a tablespoon of basil. I don't add as much basil as I do parsley, so I probably add about 2 tablespoons of parsley, tablespoon of basil, and I only add like a teaspoon or so of oregano, because oregano is like, I think of pizza sauce when I think oregano. So I don't use a lot in my tomato sauce. And that's, I'm going to season that up like that. All right, now we've got all those spices mixed in, salt and pepper and everything. Now the last thing I like to add is I add bases to my sauce. Beef base and chicken base. I add about a tablespoon of each, because my grandmother and I think Carl's grandmother used to use like chicken necks and turkey necks and beef, and you can put all kinds of stuff into a sauce. So basically, instead of frying my meat and adding meat, I add the bases, because you have the flavor of the beef and the chicken, but you don't have all the bones and all the fat. And there we go. So I put about a tablespoon of chicken and a tablespoon of beef base into my sauce. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on high, and I'm going to let this come to a boil, and I'm going to let it reduce a little bit. And then we'll come back and add our paste. Okay, now I want you to see this sauce. This is just the tomatoes. Now they've been simmering and they've reduced down a little bit. You can see some of the water's come out. That's how you want to cook your sauce. Now I'm going to add 5 12-ounce cans of tomato paste. Now you're going to see I use different kinds of paste, because some of them are redder, some of them are not, some of them are thicker, some of them are thinner. So I use all different kinds of paste. And what I'm going to do is, for every can of paste I add, I am going to fill this can with water twice. Like this. Make sure you clean it out. because paste is really, really thick. So. Okay. I'll do it again because we're going to add 2 cans of water per paste. That aside because I've already done that twice. Okay, so now I'm just going to stir that in a little bit, and there we go. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to add my 5 cans of paste and my water. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I've added in all my cans of paste. Now there's big lumps of paste in here, so what I'm doing is I'm actually going to stir in the paste so that it dissolves, because these tomatoes are extremely hot because they've been boiling for a good 15 minutes, so that some of the water actually boils out. Now it looks like I'm adding a lot of water in here, tons of water, but you'll see when the sauce is done that it simmers down and the water really does come out and the tomatoes are all nice and concentrated and simmered down. Okay, so now at this point, now that I've got my paste in, like that, I'm going to add my water, and we're going to throw in our bracioles. Okay? So there we go. All right, now I'm going to get my braciole. I stuck it in the refrigerator, so we're going to get it out of the refrigerator, and we're going to take our braciole, and we're just going to drop them in here, like this. Okay, and we're going to add in our juices and our onions from there. Give it a slight little turn. We're going to bring this up to a full boil, and we're going to reduce it down to a low simmer, and we'll be back in 3 hours, and you'll see the best sauce in Braciole ever. Stay tuned. Okay, now this has been 3 hours. You can see where the water line was when this sauce first started to cook. So that's how much water has come out of it. This is not a thin sauce, but it's not a real thick sauce either. But this is an excellent sauce. All right, so now what we're going to do is I made some fusilli here, and we're going to take out our braciole, and we're going to put it right on the pasta. Oh, it's good. Okay, just like so. This is a great. I love braciole. I like it with veal too. It's really good. Like I said earlier, you can make veal and chicken and pork. It's really good. I'm just gonna put them all over the pasta, just like this. Make sure I got them all. I don't have them all yet. Now this, like I said, this is a big kettle of sauce. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this cool now, and then I'll actually freeze it and use, you know, the sauce for when I need pasta or I want to make a lasagna. Or I love pasta. I have it at least once a week. I'm going to put some sauce all over this, just like that, and we're ready to go to the table. Okay, here we go. Braciole with pasta. Come on. Now, here we go. This is one with a little toothpick. Okay, and this is, I'm trying to find one with the string. Here's one with the string. Okay, a little bit of pasta. Now, first of all, I want to take this braciole and cut it in half. This is the one with the mozzarella and the spinach. Oh, look at that, how good that looks. I'm gonna cut off a piece. And I'm gonna take this, cut this in half around the toothpick. There we go. See, that's the one with the breadcrumbs. Oh yeah, see how nice and moist that? This meat is so tender. It's fork tender. Hot. Very good. You have to try the Braciole, it's excellent. We're gonna enjoy this tonight for supper. Thank you for watching Tina Cooks More Italian. Remember to go on my website for these recipes, www.tinacooks.com. Have a good night.
Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. Home, home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. The red man was pressed from this part of the West. 'Tis unlikely he'll ever return to the banks of Red River, where seldom, if ever, his flickering campfires burn. Home, home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all